Hey, hello everybody. Greetings and welcome to tonight's live cast roadmap to create well-being, to enjoy a deeper sense of fulfillment in our lives and some prosperity. So we got lots to cover tonight and only 60 minutes in tonight's broadcast. I am so glad you're here. Those of you who have not had the pleasure to meet, my name is Ken Coscia. I am the lead instructor and international training director for the Silva Method, as I have been now for going to my 47th year, hard to believe. And basically, allow me to just briefly and quickly introduce myself for those who may be watching the recording later, the replay, or are on with us now live. Basically, I help people take command of their lives, as I have, like I said, for 46 years. Take charge, take control of their lives. And it's from the inside out. And basically, that's our forte. That's my strength here, is taking command, taking charge of your life from the inside out. So welcome aboard. I'm so glad you're here. It is my privilege, my honor. I am so blessed and fortunate that I started way back when I was 20 years of age. This is what I've been doing full time. I get to travel around the world and meet people like you. And I so deeply appreciate you, my alumni, my students, those of you who follow my work, because I love doing this and I love doing this for you. And I hope to do more and more to serve you. As you know, the core foundation program is the Silva Life and Intuition System that I offer as the immersion experience in 4 days. And tonight, obviously, we only have 1 hour, but I'd like you to have a number of takeaways that you can get started with. So some of you here are brand new to Silva. You know, you maybe read a little bit, read the book, maybe have the home studies, but you've not yet had the opportunity to be with myself or one of our team. We have people all over the world, instructors, in a live class, which is quite an awesome event. And then again, there are those of you who maybe started way back 40 years ago or more, maybe in the recent months. That's what's so cool about Silva, because you're an alumni and you can come back as often as you like. You pay a very small seat charge, and it is necessary. I'm not going to kid you. It's a powerful program. Repetition, reinforcement, especially today, is so important. So my intention here tonight is to serve you, to inspire you, to motivate you, to maybe kick you in the butt a little bit, to actually use what you know. So, you know, it's one thing to have knowledge and all these skills, because Silva is a very how to do it program, very practical. It's another thing to use it and apply it. And for those of you new to it, again, you don't need to be a Silva grad. There'll be some good takeaways here for you right here, right now. And I hope one day I will meet you in a live class, and this can serve to introduce you to what you can expect realistically from the program. So again, welcome aboard, everybody. I'm thrilled you're here, and I want to say this. You're here, and I want to honor you in your struggle, because although even Silva and all the modalities you may know and the tools, they're so powerful, so effective. There's some really cool things that we can all study. Life being what it is, it's too easy to get distracted. It's too easy to get overwhelmed. It's too easy to just feel maybe a little helpless and hopeless. I mean, just in the recent couple of months, between the hurricanes, between the mass shooting, which just happened last night in Las Vegas, how horrible. My heart goes out to you. If anyone was, has a family member or somebody who is affected by that, it's hard to even get it out, because it's just horrendous. It's unbelievable. And I hope, and one of the reasons why I continue this work is to help raise the consciousness. We got to put an end to this. We got to help people get centered and balanced. We got to, not just you and me, but if we don't do this en masse and all the collaborative efforts between all the modalities, we're screwed, because people are hurting. And when people are hurting and when people lose it, they go kind of crazy and do things that they never would in their wildest dreams do. And then just between the hurricanes, I mean, wow, the Caribbean has been devastated. My son lives on St. Thomas. He's lost everything in forms of employment. He's living on candlelight, hardly has food, with that. It ain't easy. And some people have been really hit even worse. At least he's alive and he's okay and he's got a family supporting him. And what happened in Houston and many parts of the US, So I just want you to know I'm not ignoring that. And that's not what this is about tonight. And if you've been touched, anyone you know, let's pray, let's program, whatever your pleasure is, let's visualize, all the support they need, all the resources, that people dig deep, that people volunteer, add their efforts, and do anything we can to help people get back on their feet. And to me, that's what this is all about, is you and I making a better life for ourselves, for our family, and raising the bar for our community, our world, with that. So, excuse me for starting a little bit serious. I didn't even intend to do that, but it's hard not to. I just want you to know that I'm there with you too. And I just got back from Norway and was there for 17 days while all this was happening with the weather, and my son was trapped, and it ain't easy. So let's take a look at what we're going to cover tonight. And let's together right now, and I'm going to come back and tell you about this. This is called a transition. How do you transition from work to being with your family? How do you transition from being with your family to maybe having to do some business? How do you transition from being an educator, if you're an entrepreneur and you're into educational marketing, and then you have to do some sales? It's important that we have resources to be able to make these transitions quickly and easily so that we can be more effective as human beings. Or some of us come home from work, we've had a tough day, and we want to be with our family, we want to hug them and have energy for them, maybe have young children or grandchildren. It's not easy. And I'm not going to kid you. We all have a lot on our plates to deal with. And it is my hope, my intention that tonight it's a map, a roadmap. And what is a map? A map gives you directions, tells you where to go. And that's my intention tonight, to clarify, to give you this roadmap, 4 skills that will help you. In my opinion, skills you need. They are 4 pillars, if you will, to lay a foundation of how in the world you and I could ever, with the craziness in the world, take command, take charge, take control of our lives. So let's just close our eyes together. Obviously, you're not driving because you're watching a video, but if you are, do not do that. Just close your eyes and let's do 3 slow, deep breaths together. And as you exhale, just desire to relax and release any tension. So inhale through your nose very slowly and then exhale out your mouth. Another very slow, deep breath. Take your time. Hold it a couple of seconds. And then as you exhale out your mouth, release any tensions that you may have brought with you to tonight. Desire to relax. Another slow, deep breath. That's it. Very good. And as you exhale, release and relax. Tune in. Tonight, roadmap to creating a more fulfilling life, more well-being, better health, prosperity. And we're going to focus on 4 skills, pillars, if you will, that hold this foundation that's so important for us to have and to work with and to implement. Tonight, you'll hear what you need to experience a better life. You'll have superior concentration, superior understanding, and this is so. And now please open your eyelids, be awake, be alert, back on track. Good job, great. Simple as that. So, by the way, quick housekeeping for that. Tonight, after the hour, if you have questions, I'm happy to serve you to answer those questions. I've got another device open, my iPad mini. So what you want to do is put several question marks, question mark, question mark, question mark, so that I can recognize it, because I never know how many comments there may be. So I'm happy to say hi to you. I'm not able to say hello to everybody and acknowledge your presence, but I want to shout out to you and say, you guys rock. So question mark, and then the question, and then when we're done, I'll take a look, and if there are any questions, I can help you. And if I can't get to all of them, I will then send you an email if your name's there, because I have your email address when you register. Also, make sure nobody interrupts you. Close the door. I'm in a room, my office downstairs. Turn off your phone. Stop looking at your emails. Give you undivided attention, because folks, it's not what I'm going to say tonight, it's how it makes you feel. Understand that. The key is integration of ideas. There's a lot of great books out there. There's a lot of great motivational programs. There's a lot of incredible, awesome content out there. even for free, let alone paying for it. And that's not what makes the difference. What makes the difference is integrating it, making it a part of you. And the skill that I recommend to you more than anything, that I'm a master at and that I certify other people to do, is dynamic meditation. It's a way to bypass the critical gatekeeper. When you're in an altered state of consciousness, you're accessing the subconscious, and the subconscious is what makes us who we are, where all the files upon files of positive stuff and negative stuff is, where the limiting beliefs are, etc. So you want to, whatever the practices that you have to access your subconscious, you want to make sure you're using that when you get new information, new knowledge. So tonight, our roadmap, 4 skills, again, lay the foundation. Number 1, and I'll come back slowly. Number 1, you got to manage your energy. You got to build your energy. You got to have lots of energy for the day, for your work. You got to deal with the distressors and the stresses in life. Second pillar. Second one, you want to seek clarity. Things are changing. I used to say certainty. You got to have certainty. Now today, things are changing so rapidly. But just the weather alone, let alone business and the way we do things, that it's hard to have 100% certainty about anything. So you need to seek clarity, be flexible, and be armed, ready to move, to adjust, like sailing, to catch the wind right. Third, you want to create new positive attitudes, have more confidence, raise your self-esteem, and overcome, break through, crash through, eliminate those limiting beliefs, those myths, those superstitions that we have been bombarded with since we were born into the world, especially as they relate to what you think you can or cannot do. And fourth, got to have skills, and you want to be able to access your creativity, your intuition. You want to be able to access these altered states, they're called, there's a lot of research, that gets us thinking out of the box, that gets us developing more creative ideas, that help us to solve problems, that help us to come up with information that maybe we didn't have, that we didn't study in school. So 4 primary. So let's go back now, do one at a time, and I'll build them out. And I got, we can watch the time. I'll talk fast because I'm always overly ambitious. So number 1, and I'm going to use this. I started using this a while ago. I saw someone using it and I like it. So the number 1 pillar for the foundation is you got to manage your energy. You got to leverage your energy. You got to be able to stay relaxed and calm and focused, even under pressure. I can tell you this number 1 is huge. Number 1 is huge, and I don't like to say this, I will though, it's probably the most important, because this, without this, nothing else. Why? If the stresses build up in our life, it changes our brain chemistry. If the stresses chronically, day in and day out, build up and changes our neurochemistry and our neurobiology, acid levels build up in the body. And when the acid levels build up, it affects homeostasis. We get out of balance. And when we're out of balance, our immune system gets compromised, and we're more likely to get a cold, the virus, to get sick. We're more, what should I say, prone to infectious disease. Things that maybe have been dormant within us will be exacerbated and brought to the surface. So it's not just about aging. Yes, when we age, we're not as resilient as when we were 20. Sure, I know. But it's not just aging. It's really the quality of life and how we're living. And that's why this is so huge, because it is believed that 70 to 90% of our illnesses and our problems have to do with distress. So for example, would you agree in your life, when you are stressed, worried, preoccupied, you have trouble sleeping? I know, it's obvious, yes. When I was away in Oslo and I felt helpless because I couldn't help my son, I didn't know whether he was alive, and all I could see was on the news where they said if you don't get shelter, you're dead. I wasn't, and the hotel I was staying in didn't have cable because they were digging outside, and I didn't have access other than through Wi-Fi, and I was going 10 days straight. Yeah, my sleep was interrupted, but I'm going to teach you some things that got me right back to sleep. How about when you're stressed, distressed, feeling overwhelmed, preoccupied, are you not more likely to make a mistake, an error in judgment? Are you not more likely to leave something out, something that typically you know better? Yeah, of course. And that costs you time, that costs you money. So you see how this is related even to prosperity? If you're in business, you have your own business. If you're in sales, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you're a therapist, if you work with people in any capacity, if you lose your cool, you lose your effectiveness. If you get caught up in it, you care too much, and you get sucked into their emotional energy, you lose your effectiveness. If you take things personally, and when people are raw, when people are feeling distressed, when people are overwhelmed, and their adrenals get taxed, and their nervous system gets taxed, and it gets weakened, and we start feeling chronically fatigued, and we feel tired, and we can't think straight, you're losing your effectiveness. See where I'm going with this? How it relates? If you just do this one thing and get it under control, it'll help you to have more energy, more vitality for your grandchildren, for your children, for your family, for your friend, for your lover, for your clients, whatever it is that you do that's important. So you cannot put a dollar value on it. If you were to attend a Silva program with me or do whatever it is that you do to deal with the stress and stay relaxed and calm, because this is the number one thing we teach people right off the bat, you will get all your money back and then some in a short period of time when you apply it. And you'll save a ton more because you'll be more prosperous as a result of making better, wiser decisions and not making so many mistakes. Excuse me for putting it that way, but I need to. That's my job. I'm here to inspire you, to motivate you. I'm going to maybe a little tough love. When I was in Norway, they said, you're too easy, you're too nice, you're too positive. I said, what do you want me to do, beat you up? Because I was giving feedback to the instructors, and these people, shout out to my new Norwegian instructors, these guys rock, they're good. And I said, because I didn't have anything to tear you down. I was focusing on what you were doing. So keep that in mind. So what I started with tonight is what's called the transition, meaning you're coming home from work and you're feeling fatigued, you haven't got much energy or vitality, and yet you want to have a nice conversation with your spouse, or you want to have time for your children, your grandchildren, or maybe you want to go to the movies, or you want to read a book, or whatever it is, you want to go to a meeting. So what you want to do is before you get home, maybe sit in the car, turn off the engine, eyes closed. It doesn't take long. I mean, seriously, in fact, 2-3 minutes or less. 3 slow, deep breaths. And as you exhale, like we did before, just release, just think, desire. Talk to yourself, Ken. And it's okay to talk like that, second and third person. Current research in positive psychology out of University of Pennsylvania is showing it works, and it's proven to be very, very effective. So it's like talking to yourself. Ken, release your stress from the day, release those tensions. You do that 3 times and desire to relax. And then just intend, be clear about your intention. Well, my intention is I'm going to be with my wife. I want to have a nice conversation with her during the meal, or I'm going to go be with my children. I want to have energy for them. I'm going to go coach the soccer team that I'm coaching. I want to be there, vital. Again, get the idea? So during the day, before you go from one meeting to another, make these simple transitions. You can do it in 1 minute to 3 minutes tops. And I will assure you, you will notice yourself more focused. It's advanced mindfulness. Mindfulness is, everyone's talking about it. What I'm teaching is something we've been evidence-based for 22 years of research, started publicly in 1966, and over 50 years now, and millions of people have been through it. It's the most copied process. It works. Simple as that. So you breathe, transition. Then, one way to deal with the stressors and to balance the toxicity, the acid that builds up, is appreciate. I know everyone tells you that, gratitude, and I know it's even common sense, but just because it's common sense doesn't mean it's common practice. Just because you know it doesn't mean you're doing it. So while you're waiting on the phone for someone, or while you're waiting, scribble down a couple of people, things, anything you appreciate. Make a little appreciation list, or you can just do it mentally. Do it throughout the day. It helps to balance your energy because it helps to keep you in a state of heart coherence. It helps you literally to change your body chemistry and to release more dopamine, more serotonin, just like the breathing does. Worry. You got to be careful about worry. Those of you who know me, you've graced me as my alumni in my classes, or if you follow my work, I used to be CEO of Warriors Anonymous. Now I'm just a member because I'm not perfect. So I admit, when I was in Norway, I was worrying about my son. Understandable. And I am not ashamed of that. I love him. I would do anything. I'd give my life for him. I didn't know what to expect. And I was feeling, and there I was in a nice warm bed and comfortable, hotel room and so on and so forth. So yeah, I was worrying. When you worry, you have trouble going to sleep. You have trouble staying asleep. And I was waking up during the night about every hour and a half. So what you want to do is interrupt that pattern. You want to interrupt it. So remember, we're working still on just number one, managing your energy. So pattern interrupted. In the Silva class, we teach what? Cancel, cancel. That ridiculous, absurd sounding pattern interrupted where you just say cancel, cancel, right? And that's you interrupt the cycle, and then you got to say something more positive. So you can say, Ken, he'll be okay. Everything's fine. You know, send him a text. And then bless him. Now, I don't mean that in a religious sense. Visualize well-being. You don't want to think too much. You don't want to strategically plan. You don't want to think it out. So it's got to be quick. So for me, I was raised this way. It's easy to say, God bless Jason. God bless Barbara. God bless Bishop. God, you know, or you might say, visualize, you know, a white light, or you might say a quick prayer. But what you're doing is, folks, this is advanced psychology. You are detaching from the worry. You are separating yourself from the worry. And when you do, and instead of making it about me, worrying about work, worrying about your business, worrying about life, worrying about your health, that me, I understand. We all go through it. But that's what creates anxiety. That's what changes your brain chemistry. That's what depletes the body of serotonin, which is what gets you to sleep. So you interrupt it by cancel, and then bless someone. Bless people. Next thing you know, you'll be asleep. And I found myself doing this about every hour and a half, 2 hours. And by the way, it's very common to come to wake up somewhat every hour and a half because of the way the sleep cycles are. That's how we sleep. We go from slow wave sleep to light sleep, to slow wave sleep to light sleep. And we're literally all during the night in these 90-minute cycles. But what happens to some people is if they're worried about someone or something, then they think about it, and then they change their chemistry, and the anxiety keeps them awake. So interrupt that pattern. You can do slow, deep breaths. Bless someone. I know I've said this before if you're following my work, but it's powerful, guys. I'm finding it more helpful than even using the sleep management technique we teach in day one of the immersion. Also, to manage your energy, and I'm just checking some things because I wrote some key points. This is essential. Remember, we're on number one, managing your energy. So you may have some demanding people you work with, people you live with, an overly demanding boss or coworker or client. Yes, we all have at least one person like that, maybe a list in our lives. And just even the demands of life. So here's some questions, and I want you to write this. Well, I'm going to come back to this, all right? Because there are 4 questions, and I wrote them down later on my screen share here. So the first thing we're talking about here, and I want to come back, I want to make sure this is clear, are transitions. So in between meetings, after work, you're going home, or you're going to coach, or you're going to a movie, or you're going to a business meeting, those transitions, right? Then pattern interrupter. If you find any time during the day, and especially when you're waking up during the night, worrying, you're going to interrupt the pattern with the cancel, or, and even more importantly, bless someone. Bless someone. Again, I don't mean that religiously. Some people, you're too polarized lately. This is not about religion. I don't know your spiritual background, but think good thoughts. Think wonderful thoughts, a white light. Think a smile on their face. Everything okay. That's what I mean. And be careful not to think too much. Then what I started in was, during the day, you got to be careful about sappers. In the late 1960s, there was a book written by a medical doctor called Breakthrough to Creativity by Dr. Shafika Karagula, and she coined the expression sappers, emotional vampires, the kind of people you say, hi, how are you? Funny you should ask. And they tell you everything. And 2 minutes later. So guys, here's a key. It's not the doing of things that wears us out. It's the excessive thinking about it, worrying about it. That's what causes us to prematurely wear out and fatigue. It's the excessive thinking about it. Come on, you've done it. Come on, I just want you to acknowledge this. You got a busy day in the morning, and what do? Oh, I have so much to do. You got this list. 2 minutes later, exhausted. Or you ever have this big list and you're just troubled in your head, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to all this. And you're exhausted. It's the thinking about it. These are the people who always tell you, I'm so tired. I'm tired. I have so much work to do. I know it's not easy. It's not. I honor you and I support you in your challenge. And I'm not trying to make fun of it, but you're making it worse and you're exacerbating it by dwelling on it, by ruminating on it. Get up and do it. Do the breathing, take an alpha break, whatever it is. So these overly demanding people in our lives, these are 4 questions, and I do want you to write this down. This is key. I teach these very skills to my coach clients who pay me $1,000 a month to mentor them and help them get back on track and double, triple their income or get back on track in their lives. These are the kinds of skills I teach in the Master Center or in Silva classes for that. And I can tell you, I'm not making this up. Got a ton of experience with it. So number 1 question is, can I change him or her? Can I change him or her? Can I change her? Do we even have a right? No. This is about you and I taking command of our lives, developing self-sufficiency. So usually the answer is a resounding no. People are there. Now, we can maybe guide them. We could point them in a direction, like me tonight with the map. I'm giving you a roadmap to your health and well-being and fulfillment and prosperity. It's up to you, though, to use it and implement it. It's the same thing. So this is not a very effective strategy. The next one is, can I help her or him? Write this down. Can I help him or her? Can I help him or her? Sorry, I'm blocking the light. Sometimes you can. You guys rock. I mean, so many of you, I thank you, I appreciate you, have recommended people to my Silva seminars. Speak from your heart. If you really think this is a value for someone, if you find this video of value, share it with people. Please share it. Let people know so I can get the word out. Maybe this will help them. You might save someone's life. And I've had people write me and say, I saved their life. And it's like, whoa. I mean, it's kind of dramatic, I know. So sometimes we can point someone and we can recommend the book, but you can't make them read it. You can't make them take the seminar. You can't make them use the tools, right? Questionable. And here's one of my favorite questions, which you may need to ask. Write this down. Can I live with it? So once we get to that point, you got to then ask, can I live with it? Can I live with it? Now, can I live with him? Can I live with her? Meaning, this could be your boss. This could be your supervisor. This could be your spouse. This could be your friend. This could be your coworker. This could be someone on your team. This could be someone in your environment. This could be a client. This could be a patient of yours. I'm serious. I think we all need to be more selective in who. I'm very selective in who I work with coaching. I don't take on that many people. I haven't got all the time for it, but I want to work with people who get it. I want to work with people who really want to do something and they're going to listen and they're going to implement, because then they get results and they're thrilled and they're happy. And that's what keeps me going and inspires me. So what I mean by, can I live with it? Sometimes we all know everybody has the idiosyncrasies. So when you recognize that somebody you work with, somebody you live with, whatever it is, you got to ask yourself, okay, this is that person's idiosyncrasies. I can't change them. I can't help them. It's their right. Can I live with it? Is this in alignment with my values? Is this in alignment with for me, what's being in integrity? Is this something in other words, can I live with? These are the kinds of questions to ask to help you seek clarity. And if the answer is no, then you need to do something about it. And sometimes, frankly, I did a Facebook post. I hope you follow me on Facebook. I do every day post inspiration videos, a lot of great free content. Sometimes it's better to cut the ties. Sometimes it is better to burn the bridges. Had somebody once tell me, you burnt your bridges. And you know what I said? Hallelujah. I'm glad, because I couldn't live with it anymore. I've been putting up and I've been repressing and repressing, and decisions were made that were not effective, that were not appropriate, that were out of integrity, that were inconsistency, and it just wasn't working. I know it's not easy, and it's not. It's tough, and you pay a price. but we pay a bigger price in our health and our well-being and having to live with ourselves and with our soul. So you got to ask that. And then the question is, if I can't live with it, now what can I do for me? Which is the last question. Let me just look at this a little bit more, because this is really vital. People say, Ken, you're self-employed. You love doing your work. I do. I love it. Thank you. I got to pay the bills and I'm in a dead-end job and I really hate my work. You got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because if you hate what you're doing, if you dread it, you've got no energy, you're having trouble sleeping, you probably get headaches, you probably have all sorts of disorders, stomach disorders, maybe you're prone to heart disease. And you pay an even bigger price in medical bills, and you pay an excessive amount even in the co-pays. And then you lose a lot of time invaliding. I meet too many people, I'm so busy, I can't take off time. Because I do 4 days in a row, Thursday through Sunday for the immersion. Are you kidding me? This is your life. It's just 4 days out of your life. You got how many days in your life? How many days in the year in your life expectancy? Whoa. Because if it keeps up, and some of these very people have time to be in the hospital for weeks on end, or sick in bed frequently, and they lose all that time, and it costs them money. We gotta sometimes kick ourselves in the butt. And that's the point, whatever it is that you do with that. So can you embrace that person's idiosyncrasy? Can you live with, this is the way things are? For example, myself, live is where it's at. If you really want transformation, if you're really looking for integration and getting this and communicating brain to brain with what they call now the mirror neurons, and really taking the information, take it to another level. If you're doing the home studies, they're great and they're excellent, you got good value, but you don't really have it. I'm sorry, you don't. And it's a far cry from the live class with that. And every time somebody comes through, that's what I hear. It'll make more sense. It's faster. Why? Because you have the interaction of the group, the synergy. You have the brain to brain in the live. You have the energy of the presenter. There's all sorts of things going on. So when I say, can you embrace it? If you're in this person's environment, if you're in this person, you work with this person, you live with them, that's where it gets really testy, doesn't it? And challenging, because we're in their presence all the time. So it's a tough question. It's not easy, always the answer. But I can assure you, then ask for help. Ask for help. Maybe you need a counselor. Maybe you need a therapist. Maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need a body worker, whatever it is. There's no shame in asking for help. Nobody does it alone. Nobody. We all need somebody, some sort of a team. I hope you get that, because that's a really key question, guys. And I really want to help you with this, because I ask these questions myself all the time with that. And I'll give you one quick example. Somebody dear and near to me was working for selling service contracts for a big conglomerate. It's a big German company, making more money than he ever made in his life, better than 6 figures, doing great, loving it. But the company was lying to his clients, and his management was not delivering on their promise and was not living up to the agreements in the contract. And he found himself having to either lie to them or make up for it. And eventually he said, I can't live with this. I'm not in integrity. This is terrible. This is wrong. This guy happens to be my son, my eldest, who's on St. Thomas. And I said, God bless. Fantastic. I'm proud of you, son. And he gave it up, because it just wasn't. It's not easy, but he's a lot happier now. So the most important and the fourth question to ask is, can I change me? What can I do for me? So what can I do? Maybe what tools do I need? Maybe what training? With the right training, anything's possible. You may not have the skills, and you may need some additional training. It's that simple. You may need some coaching. You may need to read some books. Whatever it is, something that will inspire you and give you takeaways, give you tools, resources, things that you can hang on to. This is the most effective strategy. And that's what I live by. And that's how I can best help you. And what this is about tonight, it's about taking command of your life, me taking command of my life, by having this right training and the skills and implementing them. See how huge it is? I always spend more time with this, and I'm updating. Those of you who come to the roadmap before, you notice I really add a lot. I'm doing continuously research for you to upgrade and update. Even in the classes, I'm constantly adding new ways, nuances of presenting the same material in a way that you get more engagement, that makes more sense to you. You're able to apply it, and it's simpler. I mean, this to me is an art. And I salute any Silva instructor. We have instructors all over the world offering the class. It's not an easy gig, especially nowadays, and it takes someone very dedicated, professional to do it. So you guys rock. Number 2, write this down, clarity. Or you got to know what you want and then stay focused on it. So the key is, yes, have goals, absolutely. Stay focused on your goals, but seek clarity. And this is important, that you have a clear, focused vision of what you want. It's important, it's necessary. And that may change as life changes, as business changes, as technology changes, as things are no longer available to you. We're all going through that. There's a lot of disruptive technologies. You want to ask the question, is this new change? Is this new procedure? Is this policy that they're asking me to live by? And maybe you're a manager that you've got to focus on and adhere to with your team. Is it in alignment with my highest values? Is it in alignment? Is it keeping me in integrity? And I'm going to tell you, if it's not, you're going to dread it. And if you dread it, you're going to lose energy, you're going to get sick, and it's just going to get worse. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So seek clarity, and is this in alignment with my values, with my highest good? So maybe an opportunity comes your way, a program, a training, a book to read, a new business opportunity. Ask yourself, will this opportunity serve my greatest good? And maybe you have several. Which one will be the closest to getting me where I want to be? So you got to seek clarity with that. So I want to share with you an exercise. It's the second takeaway. The first takeaway was the transitions, key. But the first one is, and if you studied with me before, I call it the what do I want reflection. And I do this often with my coach clients, people I mentor. What do I want reflection? And what do I want reflection is, what is it that so write this down. The reflection is, number 1, what is it you want to create? Our mission is, and I want to suggest to you, I want you to think like this, that you and I create a new state of being. How? By being defined by a vision of our future, our best self, our ideal life, instead of being defined by memories of the past. So yes, be seasoned by the past, learn from the past, those valuable lessons, but we don't want to wallow in it. We don't want to be stuck in nostalgia, the good old days and the way things used to be. It's done. It's a done deal. It's gone. We need to be defined by a vision of the future, our best self. So what is it you want? What would be your ideal self? If you could be that guy, how would you know it? What would you like to think? How would you like to act? How would you like to feel? And I want you to incorporate this, not just write it down, but eyes closed, in your meditation, in your introspection. Eyes closed, if you slow deep breaths. Why is that important? Because when you do that, you're more likely to bypass the critical mind. You're more likely to bypass the critical gatekeeper. You're more likely to bypass the doubting Thomas, which is anchored in what we know to be true based on the current technology. What you know to be true based on those patterns of behavior that you've accomplished up to now. But people get stuck there because they keep spinning their wheels, doing the same old, and they keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. Then what's motivating you? Why? Why do you want what you want to create? What's motivating you? So you can do this both pencil and paper, but also at level, if you're a Silva grad, in your meditation, in your eyes closed when you relax. Why? Third, what are some of the challenges? You do need to look at what are the challenges? What are some of the obstacles on the way? What are some of the things you're going to need to overcome? So what are some of the challenges? And this vision of your life vision. So maybe you're working on your career. Maybe you're working on your health and fitness. Maybe you're working on your relationships. Maybe you're working on your love life. Maybe you're working on, get the idea? Your spiritual life, your intellectual life. We have these different aspects of our life, do we not? Different categories to consider in our life. So why is this valuable? This best self, how will it help you? And here's a key. What are the benefits to you in your life? And you want to extend those benefits. And the key here are it's called the benefit extension, When you extend the benefits and you think of your wife, your husband, your friend, your mother, your child, your community, the people you care about, that gives you endless, boundless energy. That's what gets us up in the morning. That's what helps us to tolerate some of the injustices and the challenges. And let's face it, life isn't fair all the time. And there's nowhere written that it should be fair. So what are the benefits to yourself and others? And incorporate that and create like you're making a little mental movie of yourself in your life. I want you to do this in the morning or during the day or at night before you go to bed, guys. I want you to do this for the next 30 days, please. And you will notice, you can count on, you'll feel more hopeful, more optimistic. And again, it's not my opinion, this is science. I am a student of positive psychology for 46 plus years. Now lately neuroscience and neurobiology and positive psychology. I have invested tons of time and money, yes, and I'm constantly, end of October, I'm going to go to another event to just see what's new, how I can maybe serve you better. So this you can count on. Now it's up to you. Do you want to continue same old, and keep getting the same results, or you want to do something different? Please forgive me. I hope I don't sound harsh. I don't mean to be. I care about you. I really do. I look forward to hearing from you and all the results you're getting. So do it. Number 3, the third pillar, third necessary skill, right? Remember, you got to break the chains that bind you. You got to overcome those limiting beliefs, those myths, those superstitions, those limiting beliefs, those crazy ideas that make us think. So let's face it, guys. When we were born into the world, here's a quick little science piece for you. When you were born into the world, while you were in your mother's womb and then as an infant, even though you were in a so-called unconscious state, slow brainwave activity, your brain was registering everything, comments, attitudes, and things. And everything you read, everything you saw on TV, right up until the present moment. So we all have files upon files of material that's not supporting us, our best self. And we have files that support it. So part of the benefit of dynamic meditation, as we teach in the Silva Method, and what I spend 4 days with you, is how to uncover that, how to become aware of these limiting beliefs, how to identify what's holding you back and delete it, eradicate it, break through it, and develop literally new neural pathways. They call it firing and wiring. I can safely say, I couldn't say it in the early days, you are literally creating new neural pathways when you practice these dynamic meditations in the Silva immersion and when you practice on your own. Your self-talk, when you're talking to yourself, that is interesting. I just heard this in some reading I was doing. When you talk to yourself in the second and or third person, like we do with the holo viewing, if you remember that on day number 3 of the immersion, that positive psychologists now in the research are finding is a very helpful tool. So if like you look in the mirror and you're using your name saying, Ken, you can do it, you can learn. Because what I'm talking about here is having the confidence. So you may not have the confidence yet, but having the confidence that somehow, some way, you can figure it out. And for a lot of us, you're going to find yourself frequently needing to just say, okay, I've done it before, I can do it again. That you want to have the confidence that somehow, some way, I'll figure this out. And you do that by having a resource state. So we do this in day number 2 of the immersion. So the resource state, very simply, is based on real live evidence, based on experiences you've had, whether it be a day ago, 10 days ago, 10 years ago, or 50 years ago, doesn't matter. Because every experience you've ever had in your life at a cellular level is recorded, and you have it embedded within you. So by eyes open or closed, I like eyes closed, eyelids closed, and going back and relive, recall first, remember a moment of excellence, a time when you were at your best, a time when you had a breakthrough, a time when you hit all your marks, a time when your voice sounded great when you were singing, a time when you wrote that first book and man, you were flowing with creativity, a time when you made that invention, a time when you said just the right thing to your children or your friends or your loved ones. That's a moment of excellence. And you want to relive it, but you want to be as detailed as possible. What was your posture like? How were you carrying yourself? What did you sound like? How were you talking? Who was with you? What were you doing? Where were you? How were you feeling? This is key because your thoughts are the catalyst. So you and I may not be able to change the world, and we may not be able to change people, but we have absolute control over how we think and what point of view we take. So your thoughts are the trigger, are like a light switch, and your thoughts are the catalyst to the feelings. They trigger the feelings and they cause the brain to release the neuropeptides that will change your whole body chemistry. So cultivate creative, hopeful thoughts, and that's what tonight is about. And when you cultivate creative, hopeful, optimistic thoughts, you change your body chemistry and you'll be more effective. You'll have more energy. You'll think more clearly. You'll make better decisions. And you create a new state of being. So on a daily basis, or before you do something new, especially if you're feeling challenged and you're a little, worried, interrupt the pattern with the cancel, and then relive a moment of excellence. Every time I give a new presentation, every time I do a new training, a new gig, every time I go to a new business meeting where I'm going to be giving a presentation, hoping that they'll hire me or something like that, I'll relive a moment of excellence, a time when I did it and I succeeded. And what it does is it changes your whole, it's what athletes are paying thousands and thousands of dollars to hire sports psychologists to teach them how to do this, to get you in the zone. And you create and it's called, it's hard to say, ecstasis. Kind of like ecstasy, but ecstasy is also confused with the street drug, MDMA. Ecstasis, it's a state of being where you feel joy, you feel good, you feel at ease and relaxed. And it's not just always about smiling. It's possible, guys. It's possible. You want to have that boundless energy and be fun to be around and fun to be with. So people want to be with you. If you're looking for a mate, a soul mate, well, who wants to be with somebody who's depressed and upset and angry and moody? You want to be exuberant, right? And happy and healthy and feeling good and bring that with you to help other people feel good. That's how we can help humanity. That's how we can help the community with that. So this new state of being, it's not far-fetched. It's funny. If you follow my work, I talked about a book called Stealing Fire. It depends on your background whether you'd be interested in reading, but there's a lot of research. And they're researching these altered states. When you and I are meditating, when you and I are using the Silva tools, we are literally not just changing our brain waves to the blue, into the green and red, alpha and theta, sleep-like states, daydream-like state, but we are literally changing our brain chemistry, and we're creating more dopamine, more serotonin, which makes us feel good. And often in your meditation, you might feel your whole body tingling with that. So the resource state is a way, without going into a deep meditation, it takes you a few minutes. It's usually good to spend at least a few minutes to relive it, and you get yourself back in the zone. Got it? Another takeaway for you. And number 4, you want to access your creativity and your intuition. And if you're doing everything I've just recommended to you, you'll be more naturally. When people meditate regularly, when people are in that ecstasis state, when people are feeling joyful, they're more likely to access creative expression. They're more likely to access their intuition. They're more likely to have innovative ideas. Come on, think of it this way. You're feeling pressure. Oh, am I going to let me sleep on that. You go to sleep, you wake up, you feel better about it. Or you go for a walk, or you talk with a friend. And then when you take the pressure off, it's called putting your subconscious to work while you're sleeping. We do that all throughout all 4 days, teach you all sorts of tools, from sleep control to dream control, to the glass of water, to holo viewing, to the laboratory, how to get your subconscious working for you while you're sleeping, to access the stream of consciousness, this altered state that we believe, we recognize is, we have infinite possibilities of ideas. It doesn't mean it solves the problem, but it gives us the ideas, the inspiration, the know-how, and then we have to act on it. And then maybe we might need a team, or we might need to hire someone to help us with it, or we may need to get more training. But you get the idea? So this new state of being is kind of like saying your future self. So what you want to start asking yourself is, when you're in a quiet state and you're feeling good, you're more likely to access your creativity or intuition. You can ask yourself, here's another takeaway question, write this down. How can I think and behave to be this way? How can I begin to think and behave to be this way? So you're thinking of your ideal self, you're thinking of your ideal future self, you're thinking of your best self, the person you'd like to be. How can I think and behave to be this way? If you have opportunities, what opportunities will help me get there faster? By the way, you have all this ability yourself. Basically, if I'm coaching you, mentoring you, if you're coming into a Silva class, we're fast tracking it because we're giving you the skills and making it a lot easier. And we give you the support with that. So it's really not that. So the question is, how can I think and or behave differently? How can I think and or behave differently? And this is how you get defined by your future. This is how you create your best self, your ideal self. So I want to remind you, it's a slippery slope working with intuition, and you know this. I say that because several things going on. A, you might have a myth and be fearful. So was I being intuitive about my son and his life? No, I was fearful. It clearly wasn't intuition. And my wife Barbara even had a dream. I'm not even going to repeat the dream. It's horrible. And it didn't happen. It's not going to. It's fear. And it confuses us. And then there's wishful thinking. As you know my story, I grew up with gamblers. I watched these men who were very successful businessmen because of their gambling habit lose everything, including my dad. My dad went from having nothing to having everything, put me through college. I went to private high school. I mean, I had it made by comparison because I was born in abject poverty, but by the time I was 8, he was doing better. And then he got sick back into the gambling and lost it all. So too often people running to buy lottery tickets, and taking, entrepreneur high risk. And they're fooled by wishful thinking. And another thing is, when things feel right, it feels good. Is it because it's intuition guiding us, that inner wisdom? Or is it because we're in a familiar pattern? Is it because when we're in familiarity, we feel comfortable? That's one reason why change is so freaking slow, because familiarity breeds comfort. And when we're comfortable, we don't want to move or do anything different. That's the biggest thing you got to embrace, guys. You got to embrace being uncomfortable from time to time. If you're doing serious personal development, if you're doing serious spiritual development, there will be times when you learn things and tools that you are going to be uncomfortable. And if you're not going to embrace the discomfort, then don't even bother, don't even waste your time. Because it's going to come more than a few times and you're going to be uncomfortable. Not a bad discomfort, but because you're in unfamiliar territory. You're not sure what to expect. And when you break through it, you'll feel high as a kite. You'll feel joy. You'll feel blissful. It's like a burden has been lifted off your shoulders, and that you can count on. And that's why another way to build this resource state is count your blessings, your successes. So for example, when we're in a Silva immersion in the class, or in any class you might go to, you got to be practicing, right? And you got to be kind of evaluating. Where was I before? Where am I now? When I look back, and I was flunking in college and I became a straight A student and I was a full-time Silva instructor at the same time, and I'm studying less. Boy, did that build confidence? And I stopped getting headaches. Did that build confidence? And then my mom teaching her the long relax, and she was listening every day, and she stopped having asthma attacks and stopped having arthritis because of these Silva dynamic meditations. Does that build my confidence? You bet. For that. Just recently in Norway, there's a filmmaker there. There are actually 2 filmmakers, and one of them has suffered from, I never heard of this. I mean, I know eczema, but some people get it so bad that their whole body itches and they're in pain and they get scars. And she had this for years and years, and she was taking medication, and the medication was working less and less. A dear friend turned her on in Oslo, Norway, to Silva. She took the Silva Method, the life and intuition system. She was in my class reviewing with me when I was just there a few weeks ago. She said, look, she had brown marks, I guess they look like beauty marks, but they were big marks. No other signs, no itching, no medication, just from practicing 3 times a day, 15 minutes each time. So it wasn't a miracle. And it took at least 3 months before she got a little bit of relief, 6 months, much more relief. And it was a little after a year, I don't remember the exact time, but it was after a year that she just got about 100% relief. That's a long period of time, but she stood in there. She embraced it and she worked with it, and it wasn't easy. And you could do the same thing. And I'd like to help you do that. So I say, guys, I hope you're finding this helpful. If you resonate with this and you're finding it helpful and you think other people, could benefit, please share it. Please do me that solid. I'd really appreciate it. I'd like to get my word out, let people know. I'm still kind of new at doing videos and doing these live casts. I love doing it, and I'm probably not the best at it, but I'm getting there better and better. And if you look at some of my earlier videos or some of the earlier live casts, some of you already commented, you're right. There's a learning curve, like anything. Keep that in mind. If I could do it, you could. So maybe you're feeling troubled or challenged by something. Hang in there. Seek help. Do what you can. And slowly but surely, but you got to show up. You just got to jump in and do it and get started. Some of you say, I really want to take the class, but I'm waiting for the right time. Well, now's the right time. There's no right time. Jump in, get your feet wet. And if you really resonate with this and I could be of service, I'd love to have you in my class. And if you're a grad ready alumni, it'd be great. There's only 2 more left of the year, and I'm not sure when I'm going to start up in 2018 for a lot of reasons. So if you can come back and review, be in Chicago area, and I'll be in Connecticut in November. Chicago's in like 10 days, next Thursday. Woohoo, coming up already. And if you're new to this, there's still some seats. It'd be my honor and pleasure to work with you on that. So I'll be sending you a replay of this. Do go over it. There's a lot of good content in here. There's a lot of key things. So just to wrap up, the four pillars, 4 necessary skills to help you take command of your life, to take charge, to take control. Number 1, you got to manage your energy, right? That means you got to leverage your energy in such a way that you can stay relaxed, calm, and focused, even under pressure and in spite of it all. That you don't let other people's stuff become your stuff, that you learn how to deal with the overly demanding clients or business people. You learn how not to let life get the best of you so that you stay hopeful and optimistic. And you manage this with your breathing. You manage this with pattern interrupters, with the cancel. You manage this with the appreciation list. Number 2, seek clarity to build your confidence. Have goals, know what you want. But ask yourself, what are my values? What's important to me? If someone or something were taken away from me, who would it be? So seek clarity about your work. Seek clarity about new trainings available to you. Seek clarity about what your partner wants from you. Seek clarity from what your clients want from you. Seek clarity from how you can be a better parent. Ask questions like that. Ask questions of yourself. Seek clarity with people. Remember those questions. Can I change him or her? Can I help him or her? Can I just went blank with the third question. The most important, can I live with it? Excuse me, can I live with it? And then can I change me? What can I do for me? What can I think or behave so that I fit more effectively? And when you're doing just these 2 things, you'll have more energy, you'll have more vitality, you'll think more clearly. Number 3, you want to get rid of those superstitions, those myths, those silly myths that are not substantiated. Like, gee, if you're a little cold, you're going to get a cold. Come on. That's so old school. That's the biggest myth. Just because there's a cool breeze on you doesn't mean you're going to get sick just because the weather's changing. It's when your immune system's compromised that we get sick. You got to keep your immune system strong. So in your reflection, the what do I want reflection, in your meditation, in your introspection, in your Silva meditation, whatever you're doing, you want to get clear about your values, what it is you want. You want to begin to recognize what's holding you back, identify those limiting beliefs, break through them, and start building the resource state. By what? Looking at your successes, looking at what's working, and keeping that in mind and reliving it. That helps build the confidence that you can say to yourself, by golly, somehow, some way, I can figure this out. And number 4, my favorite, I think most important, some of you are using from my Trust Your Intuition Academy. Go to trustyourintuition.com. I got free video training there if you want on intuition. And then if you're interested, there's a whole program for you. There's a workshop. You want to access your creative inspiration, those innovative ideas, that inner wisdom that we all have access to, especially when we're sleeping or when we can bypass the critical gatekeeper. So you want to build points of reference and understand what's the difference that makes the difference between intuition when you're on the money and when you're off. Fair enough? Excellent. You guys rock. I will keep you posted. I'm going to be putting up a new blog that'll probably show up over the weekend. Depends on our schedule there. And as I promised, I know we're right on the money, 1 hour as I promised. For those of you who want to stay on, let me just check to see the chat roll on here. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry for And I'm not seeing any questions. So either I lost you or I was so crystal clear. You know, it's funny, guys. Talk about just one last closing thought, how life is. Close to 70 something people, maybe 75 people registered last I saw. And I'm seeing in here only 13 people are here live. Holy moly. When you charge, that's why I charge others, then you get 75, 80% show up. Right? I sent out more emails than you probably want me to send out. I sent out 2 or 3 reminders today to people who had registered. And that's how crazy busy. Now, I know some of you are overseas and the time zone doesn't work, and you purposely signed up because you know you're going to get the replay. You get a lot of that because remember, I'm international. So I have if you look on my Facebook page, I have people from, I don't know how many different countries. It's very cool with that. But that's my point, is just how the demands on us in our life. So thank you for making the time, for being here with me. Thank you for watching this. You rock. That says a lot about you and the type of person you are, that you care enough about yourself, that you love yourself enough to do something for yourself. So as Jose Silva used to say, may the rest of your life be the best of your life. And as Ken Coscia would like to say, remember, you are far more than what you appear to be. In fact, you're better. Have a good one, and I'm going to sign off.